Hi, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Idiot. How's everyone doing today? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst day ever. I'm giving up. I'm out of here. And 10, orgasmic, ecstatic bliss. Where are you and why? 1 through 10. I am doing all right. I freaking feel fine. And then my throat was just a little funny. And so I thought, let me take a little gander. Let me take a little peek inside. And I opened up my massive mouth. By the way, my dentist told me I had a big mouth, which is weird thing to say. It was years ago. And I had to open up real wide. And he goes, wow, you got a big mouth. I'm like, are you flirting with me or insulting me? He also was like, you have an overbite and crooked tooth, but I think it's character, so you should leave it. And I was like, okay. Today's episode is brought to you by Vinted. Okay, my closet is a graveyard of women I decided to become for about 9 days. There's Blazer Laura. She had a plan. She had a calendar. She was going to be taken seriously. There's the one who bought 4 pairs of workout pants in a single evening because she watched a documentary. There's a woman in there who owns a poncho. A poncho. I don't know her. I've never met her. I live in Los Angeles. And, they all just hang there, tags on, staring at me with their little judgy sleeves, like you said. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I needed the money. That's not the thing. The thing is, I hate that they're in there doing nothing. Somebody could be wearing that poncho. Somebody out there is poncho ready, and I'm hoarding it like a dragon. So I put a bunch of it in Vinted. Vinted is a secondhand marketplace app. Real people selling stuff they actually wore, or in my case, aggressively did not wear. And listing is genuinely quick. Photo, price, post. I did 4 items during a phone call I was already not paying attention to. And there are no seller fees on Vinted, which I had to read twice because I assumed somebody was taking a cut somewhere. That's just how the world works. Nope. It sells for $20. You get $20. Vinted makes the prepaid shipping label for you, so you're not out here weighing a poncho on a bathroom scale trying to guess. I spent my first Vinted money on a smoothie and I felt like a war hero. So, ready to clean out your closet and make some extra money? Download the Vinted app for free and start listing. No seller fees, so you keep every dollar you earn. Anyway, he told me I had a big mouth, so I don't know if he meant that figuratively or literally. But I opened up my big mouth to discover all these white dots in the back of my throat, like just 10 minutes ago. I'm like, there ain't no way. There ain't no way. And now I was feeling fine. Like my throat hurts a little, but it's not bad. It doesn't, when you have strep and you can't swallow, it doesn't feel like that. It just feels a little sore. And I look back there and it's like, it's snowing back there. Just there's like 10 white dots on either side, which is really disturbing. Isn't it disturbing? So I saw this video on TikTok, so I know it's true, that talked about how the Japanese have a ritual where every single evening they gargle with salt water. Every single evening, not just when they're sick, every night. It's part of their routine, just like brushing your teeth and flossing. And apparently they get way less sick than other countries, other cultures. And it makes perfect sense. You're cleaning out that bacteria before it develops into a, whatever sort of virus, illness. And so that's what I just did. I gargled with salt water, and I'm hoping to God that it's not freaking strep. But literally, I have white all in the back of my throat. I know that's disgusting, but it's true. Whoops. So that kind of bummed me out. But, I'm trying to focus on what's going right. What is going right in your life right now? So often we focus on what's going wrong, all the white in my throat. Um, just being an adult, being a mom, it's stressful, but it's beautiful. Okay, so yeah, I'm realizing now that I'm 40 years old that I want to do things that bring me joy. And so I was thinking a lot about this podcast, and I'm not really enjoying these solo episodes. I don't feel self-indulgent to sit here and talk about myself and my weekend and my feelings and my throat, the back of my throat. It just feels unimportant and self-indulgent. And furthermore, I'm not enjoying it. What I enjoy is when my mom is sitting next to me and I'm getting to connect with her and have fun with her and have deep conversations with her and you guys. I'm enjoying that, or having one of my best friends on, like Manon Matthews, who matches my silliness and we can riff on things and connect. I think I'm missing the connection because I'm sitting here alone in a cold studio. And I'm just realizing that I want to shift the show. It's fine to do, intros and catch y'all up on the tea. And then I'm also finding there's like certain parts of my life that I actually want to keep for myself and not share, which is weird for me to say because I'm the ultimate oversharer and when I'm ovulating. But there's just certain things in my life that I just don't want to talk about. And so then I sit here and I'm like, well, what are we doing? So anyway, I'm kind of restructuring the show to go like, who do I actually want to have conversations with? And I thought, my mom could be a consistent guest. Manon, Patreon subscribers. If you subscribe to my Patreon, then you can enter to be a guest on my show. That's another thing that's actually interesting to me is getting to know you and your story and whatever it is that you feel compelled to share, whether it's your, business or you have a great story or a philanthropic cause, whatever it is, I want to get to know you. So if you want the chance to be a guest on my podcast, go to patreon.com/Laura Clary. That's patreon.com/Laura Clary. I go live every Monday. Get ready with me as it's fun. You were just in my closet gossiping and it's great. You'll have a chance to be a guest on my show. If you subscribe, it's $3 a month. I also write really vulnerable newsletters and essays every single week, which is really fun. And it's great conversation there, as well as I release our podcast episodes early. So you get to see them before anyone else. It's a really great community of now nearly 38,000, mostly women there. And they're awesome. And it's awesome. So patreon.com/Laura Clary. Please join. It also helps support me and keeps me going and being able to make great content for you guys. So it's fun in a lot of ways. Oh, and then I'm also working on a topic and discussion monthly meeting on Patreon only, where we meet every month and we have a topic, whether it's like a romantic relationship or gratitude or acceptance or whatever the topic we feel like discussing is. We have a topic and we discuss for an hour. And it's great because we get to deeply share and deeply listen. And I would say, through my divorce, through the hardest times in my life, having a support group, having, a group of women that I see, whether it's every week or every month, and getting to deeply share and deeply listen and connect has been the most healing thing, more healing for me than therapy, than anything else. So that's another big plus and reason to join my Patreon, to join this amazing community of amazing women. At my throat. Okay, so after this, I am going to Malibu with my son, and I'm going to take him for his first surfing lesson. Can you believe that? There's an organization that teaches kiddos on the spectrum, as well as kiddos with Down syndrome, adults on the spectrum and with Down syndrome, how to surf. And it's really awesome. And I'm so nervous. I don't know how he's going to like it, if he's going to feel overwhelmed, but he's literally on the board with a surfer and they ride those waves. And I'm so excited. So I'm literally, after this, I'm picking him up from school and then we're going to Malibu. How crazy is that? How insane is that? I'm so excited. Meanwhile, my daughter is at Disneyland with her dad. She has been begging us to go for some time now. And we were like actually all ready to go. We were going to go, the four of us. And I was nervous with Alfie, but we were going to get like a leash, just anything to keep him safe and not running off. And then the fridge thing happened and my back got all up. So we postponed. And then Steven was like, she just keeps asking, like, we have to take her. He's like, what if I take her first and then we all go back, the four of us? And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And I like that because, being the sibling of, someone with special needs is hard. He gets a lot of the attention because I cannot take my eyes off of him. I cannot. Even like going to the bathroom is a risk. So my daughter will want to play, but I'll have to make sure Alfie's safe and not lighting something on fire or running off. And so, and then on top of that, if he has a meltdown and becomes dysregulated, that's scary for her. It's scary, and I worry about her nervous system. I really do. Because she's scared and runs off. She's scared when he gets angry. It's a lot for her. So I love the idea that she gets to go to Disneyland and it just be about her, and not having to be accommodating to her brother for once, So I love this. And Steven has sent me 8,000 videos and pictures of them. And she's so happy. She looks so happy. So that's amazing. And they left yesterday and they're coming back tonight. And it was also really nice to just get like a day with my son, just the two of us. Thank God he is better now. He was sick for a week, and that's probably why my throat is funny. But when he gets sick, he regresses in ways that are very scary, and it's very difficult. So whatever, this weekend, he was just amazing and regulated and happy and just painting and taking walks and jumping on the trampoline and asking to go to the grocery store and all these things. So I'm just like so grateful that he is healthy and regulated again. So that's really great. And then, yeah, I don't know. I guess life feels really calmer than it has in a long time, which is amazing. Huge thank you to today's sponsor, Vinted. I want to be really clear that I am not one of those women who does a closet reset. I don't have bins. I've never folded anything into a little rectangle and felt peace. My system is shove, close door quickly, apologize to no one. But I hit a point where I opened it and something fell on me, like attacked me. A boot came for my head and I stood there in the wreckage going, this is not a wardrobe. This is a compactor. And every single thing in here, I paid actual money for and then abandoned like a coward. So that's how I got to Vinted. Vinted's a secondhand marketplace app. It's just regular people selling the clothes they don't wear anymore. And the reason I stuck with it is that it's fast. You photograph the thing, you name the price, it's up. That's the entire ritual. I need something to be under about 90 seconds or my brain leaves the building and doesn't tell me where it's going. Two things that got me. There are no seller fees on Vinted. So the number you see is the number you get, which I don't know why that shocked me, but it did. And when something sells, Vinted creates the prepaid shipping label for you. You print it, you're done. There's no post office arc. There's no me at a counter at 4:47 sweating. And honestly, the money's not even the main event for me. It's that a dress I loved in 2019 is currently on a human body somewhere instead of dying in the dark behind a poncho. Second life, great for her. So what's hiding in your closet? You might be surprised how much you can earn with Vinted. Download Vinted app for free to start listing with no seller fees so you keep every dollar you earn. My ex just celebrated a year sober, and he's really been showing up for the kids in many, many ways, helping to get our son's services and just being there, like being a helping hand. Like even I walk them to school in the mornings, and sometimes it's hard because he'll want to run and she'll want to walk. And so he's come to help, and he'll stay with Poppy while I run with Alfie. Things like that. That makes raising kids, especially one with special needs, a little easier, just having more support. So that's been really great. And I'm just grateful every day that he stays sober and is present and kind and calm, especially to the kids, What was I going to say? Oh, and he just, he was having them one night a week for the last year or so. And then now we've moved it to 2 nights a week. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I just can't believe it's so weird. So like Friday and Saturday, like they were with him, and he has support there too, which we really do need, with our son, and I'm grateful for it. So he has support as well there. And it's just so weird on my end to have that time, like to be able to, first of all, I bed share with my kids. So like to have the bed to myself, to get to do whatever I want is really insane to me. It's just wild to be able to sleep in. Not that I do, because, your mental alarm clock goes off and I'm up at 6:30 or 7 anyway. But like, it's just wild to get to have this house to myself. And then I miss them a lot, but then I'm grateful and I'm able to write and read and do yoga and go to recovery meetings and see friends and all that sort of fun stuff. So it's really strange. And then like Sunday comes around and I have Alfie, and all of a sudden I'm like actually calm. And I realize that I don't ever really get to be super calm for long periods. And if you're a mom with a kiddo with profound needs, you know what I'm talking about. You're just kind of in fight or flight all the time. Truly, if you look the other way, like something crazy could go down. It's not the same as having a neurotypical kid. It's just not. And so just having those 2 days where I knew they were in good hands, he has a tracker 24/7 too. So like, I know where he is. Like, I know he's being cared for, and her as well. And that I could actually just truly breathe and relax I swear to God, I haven't felt a calm like that in years, in actually years. And remember too, when my ex was in his relapse, I had them full time. And so there were no breaks because I was either working or with the kids, and that was it, you know? Um, so these 2 days, it's mind blowing. It's been like 2 weeks and I just cannot even believe it. And then on Sunday, I was just so regulated and my son was all calm. We just had like the most calm day ever, just painting. We went grocery shopping. We went to Target and bought more paint. We went for ice cream last night and just everything. We listened to a lot of music, dance parties, built castles with magnetiles. I was able to like just kind of unwind. I'm reading Dostoevsky book, the psychological romance fiction little novella here. It's called White Nights. Dostoevsky. I just, why I picked this book? A, it's a romance novel and I'm horny. And B, it's about unrequited love, which is just an interesting, fun topic to explore. And I think I'm like a love addict for sure. And so, I'm not in a relationship right now. And so reading these kinds of things is stimulating in many ways. But the reason that I picked this, though, beyond it being a romance novel, is a psychological romance novel, is because it's like 87 pages and I just don't have the time to read a 300 and something page book. If you have the time, you should read What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Hotter. I hear it's a page turner. The biggest thing that I've heard from this book is that everyone's getting through it in like 2 days. They're like, I read it in 2 days. I listened to it in 2 days. I read it in 2 days. Page turner. I couldn't put it down. So that's cool. That's awesome. I'm very happy about that. It doesn't drag. And a lot of people too said like it sort of read like a fiction, like it read like a thriller, but it's not. They had to keep reminding themselves, oh wait, this is nonfiction. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, so I got to like sit there. We were at this diner last night and he was having his ice cream and I was just reading my book and we were just like smiling at each other. And that's one of the perks of having a nonverbal child. Well, he's not technically nonverbal anymore. He's non-conversational. One of the perks of having a non-conversational child is you can just sit there over dinner and just kind of look at each other. And then, I read a book and he, vocal stims and eats his food. And then we look at each other again and make a silly face and then go back to the book. And it's just very peaceful and calm and quiet. Same with our walks. We take like 5 walks a day and we don't talk really. Sometimes we do, but we communicate with our eyes and with our sounds and with touch. And it's really special. And then there's my daughter who talks enough for the both of them. And that is also amazing. Like we have the most hysterical, sweet, interesting conversations. And I love that. I don't love one more than the other, actually. They're both really special dynamics. And I'm very, very lucky. But so just having those 2 days off, I can't tell you what it did for my nervous system. I really cannot. Being the only adult in the house, you just worry all the time. I worry all the time, Do you ever think about yourself before children and just how lighthearted you were and how I was so silly and lighthearted all the time. And I feel like I still have that in me. But when all of a sudden you're just responsible for humans, especially one of the humans lacks a sense of danger. So it's very demanding in many ways. And I sort of found that I lost my lightness, But I don't know if any other moms relate to that. Do you ever just like flash back to you pre-children Like I was even thinking, I have this one weird memory that just keeps popping up of Stephen and I before we had children and we would fly to London to see his parents. And we would sit around, they had this little cute kitchen. We'd sit around this little wooden table and eat dinner and laugh. And I remember just making his parents laugh so hard, just cracking up. Or one time we all went out to Indian in Kent where they live. And I was just being silly and goofy. And I pretended that I was going to steal the salt shaker at the restaurant and they were dying. It was just like very silly, lighthearted behavior. And then I remember telling Steven's mom that I have no tattoos or piercings. I just never felt the need to get a tattoo or, face piercings or anything. And I thought that was going to be impressive to her because I just assumed like British women over 60 didn't like piercings or tattoos. Boy, was I wrong, because she looked at me and she went, well, that's a bit boring. And I remember being like, oh, and sure enough, now I have a nose ring and she loves it. But yeah, so I was thinking about, for whatever strange reason, my dynamic with my ex's parents and how silly and fun it was. And then once I had our babies, I just became so serious. It was like, whatever, I was just keeping kids alive. So you just lose your lightness, right? And anyway, so I just think that, I wonder if that's a common experience. And too, like motherhood, there's so much joy, blah, 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 blah. I love it. There's like nothing better. The love is incredible. I miss them when I'm not with them. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. I think what I call this is a little rambling. I'm just rambling about things. I'm also dry. I went to a mixed meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous finally on Friday because I could. It's weird because I only go to women's meetings. And yeah, it was fun. It was really good to just sit there, and I got to listen to this amazing speaker who, she's a TV writer, and she just talked about how she like got all the things. She got sober because she wanted the prizes. She wanted all the external stuff, right? And so she got sober and she got all the stuff. She got the house and the hills with the pool and the writing job and the shows and the this. And then of course she realizes like, oh wow, this really does not fill the hole in the soul. It does not. Like truly happiness is an inside job, It's nice. It's nice to have a pool, but it's not going to fill the hole in the soul, right? And it was just, I suppose I just really needed to hear her story. Yeah, so that's that. I have a few questions from the audience. So I'm going to read a few questions and do a little Q&A section before I go surfing. And then the question is too, does my son get lessons or do I get lessons too? I don't know that I want to be in there. I don't want to be in the ocean. Freaks me out. Okay, so Q&A. First question. My husband and I fight about the same 3 things on a loop. How do you know if it's a pattern you can fix or just the marriage now? Renee in Akron, Ohio. Renee, this is a really good question. And, it's funny. I just watched because I didn't have the children. So I watched The Invite that Olivia Wilde wrote and directed this movie. It was with Olivia Wilde, Seth Rogen, and I think it was Penelope Cruz and someone else. I don't know. But oh my gosh, I loved this movie. And I don't want to give away too much, but essentially Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen play a married couple. They haven't had sex in a year. They've got a 12-year-old and they're just like miserable and they fight about the dumbest shit. And she's very like anxious and codependent and he's depressed and dissatisfied in his life and just unhappy. But what I noticed with them is they both seemed, and especially him, seemed incredibly unwilling to change or to like seek help. You know what I mean? So they're just like stuck in this um, discontent state of, anxiety and fear and anger. Anyway, so interesting. Such a good movie. Highly recommend it. The Invite. I rented it on Apple and it was so good. I loved it. Very inspiring. And it was shot on film too. But anyway, so, look, I'm anti-marriage girl, so I'm just gonna say go get a divorce. No, just kidding. Don't get a divorce unless you want one. But I would just say become willing to find your part, and if you're both willing to find your part in the situation, where were you selfish, self-seeking, dishonest, or afraid, and how can you walk through that and make it right? Make amends, clean up your side of the street, like you're chill. I remember, when I was married, there were times where like he didn't want to go to therapy and there's nothing you can do. And so I would just call my sponsor. I'd go to therapy. I'd keep the focus on myself. So just I think depends on if there's willingness there, if you're willing and open-minded. So anyway, in this movie, they invite the neighbors who turn out to like have sex parties and are in a non-monogamous or polyamorous relationship, and they wanted to invite them into it, but Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen are like too f***ed up to even engage. And it's just really, really good. And Renee, you should watch that movie. Next question. Is it normal to love your husband and also kind of not like him for a whole season? Tasha says. Yeah. Next question. How do you keep any romance alive when you haven't had a full conversation without a kid interrupting in like 4 years? Dude, it's so funny because all these questions are just making me that much more grateful that I'm single. I don't have this problem right now because I'm not married, or nor do I have a boyfriend, nor am I living with a man. So these aren't even issues, but I would say I feel anything but lonely because I have really good friends. I have a support group full of women who I can connect with. I have friends who I can call. I have family who I can call. I have kids who I can play with and snuggle and love. So it's like stepping outside of romantic love and finding the unsung joy in platonic love, in family love, in being more involved and active in your community, loving thy neighbor. There's just so many different types of love. So I don't know, but if you want to keep your romance alive, go on a date and get down. Just me down. How do I keep any romance alive when you haven't had a full conversation without a kid interrupting in like 4 years? When the kid goes to school, get down. Just, you're not going to want it, but just do it anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want romance and you want to get that spark going, I would do like a 30-day down, not cleanse, because that wouldn't, a 30-day down cleanse, a 30-day down program where you just get down for 30 days straight. You find times, go in different fun locations, switch it up, do it in the kitchen, do it in the laundry room, on top of the dryer, go to your local coffee shop and sneak into the bathroom. Why not? It's just a quickie. Just go around town, get down around the town. And I feel like you're just going to feel more connected. Just take like D-Manos and pee after so you don't get UTIs. But I would just say make time to get down. That's my suggestion to you. Or if you're single. My partner and I want completely different things socially. I want to stay home. He wants people over every weekend. How do you compromise on that? I ain't no expert, but I would just say alternate, like do what's fair, like whatever's fair. So one weekend, no one comes over. The next weekend, people come over. I suppose you just have to accommodate, mother and make sacrifices on both ends. Okay, next question. Steph asks, is it bad that my favorite part of the day is after they're asleep and I don't want it to end? I never want my children to wake up. Ever. Yeah, that's bad. No, I totally relate to that. There's something so satisfying about when you just hear them drift in, because like they sleep on either side of me. So like the moment when I hear them drift into the deep sleep and you hear the subtle and just the deep breathing, and then they're off and they're just peaceful and they're content and they look so cute. And then you can waste time scrolling on Reels or TikTok or go masturbate. You can do those things or snack or just lay there in the silence. And that is so nice. No, there's nothing wrong about that. I think it's beautiful that you love it when they're asleep. You played with them and taught them and were present with them and kept them safe all day. And now your hard work has paid off and you can just breathe for however many hours. And that's a beautiful thing. Well, thank you for all of your questions. You can send me more whenever you want and I'll answer them. Again, if you want to join my more intimate community of women to have really deep conversations, it's fun, it's exciting, go to patreon.com/Laura Clary and you can join there for as low as $3 a month. And I love you guys. And I'm going to go surf with my son right now. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. And I hope you all have an amazing day. And I guess to end, do me a favor and drop in the comments 5 things you're grateful for, because it's really actually difficult to be pissed off and grateful at the same time. It's one of my favorite tricks. And so just take a minute and write 5 things you're grateful for right now in this moment. Okay. Love you.